A lot has been spoken about the American Revolutionary War and what caused it, what made people decide that they wanted to fight against this big power, fight against England, and ultimately pursue their own liberty. And one piece of that is often forgotten is the revolutionary mind that came through the First Great Awakening. When people's religious minds were awakened to the love of God for the individual, for the individual's role in joining in to the kingdom and purpose of God. When people began to really have their spiritual eyes opened, that led them to see the need for physical liberty. And that's one of the reasons why George Whitfield is so important. And that is what my report, my research is on, is George Whitfield, and how George Whitfield is a pre-revolutionist who really sparked revolution. It is because of the change that happened spiritually, where people began to see that the church couldn't save them. They had to come before God themselves with a new heart, with a clean heart. They could come through putting their faith in Jesus. They began to say, I don't want anybody to try to stop me from worshiping God the way I want to worship God. And that mind translated to other ways. I don't want anyone to stop me from living the way I want to live. So when things like the Stamp Act were enacted, they said, no, you can't stop the gospel from getting out, and you can't stop people from being free to read and learn. And so George Whitfield is this often forgotten hero who sparked revolution. He brought people together in the brotherhood and sisterhood of the gospel and showed people that just as they had a responsibility to protect their religious freedom, they also had a responsibility to protect and defend their civil liberties. And that's something that people were willing to take up arms for. And lastly, George Whitfield, he knew that people had a responsibility to make sure that no one stopped them or got in the way from serving and loving God as they pleased.